Hello there, my beautiful friends. So I'm pretty sure you guys already know what time it is, but just in case you are not from around these parts, it is the time of the week that we talk about all the new makeup releases here in Pay or Stay Away. So if you are ready to learn about what is new this week, then go ahead and keep on watching and let's jump right on in. Alright, so as per usual, we have too many things for me to keep up with and too many things to talk about, but let's go ahead and get started with Charlotte Tilbury. I'm like the most offensive person when it comes to accents, but I feel like when you say Charlotte Tilbury's name, you can never just say it like in an American accent if you're from the US. You have to say it with a British accent. That is the most British sounding name I've ever heard. But she recently announced the new glowgasm collection, which is going to consist of two new glowgasm face palettes, one for light to medium skin and one for medium to dark skin, and maybe even deep dark skin. It's kind of hard to tell by the photos. I would hope she would, make it deep enough to be able to work for many different types of dark skin, but that's a whole nother can of worms here. But she's also coming out with two new liquid highlighting wands. Now, I don't know when these are coming out. They don't have a date as of right now, and we don't also have prices, but I can assume that they are probably going to cost me my kidney and maybe even my liver, but nonetheless, these are gorgeous. Like, no one can deny how beautiful these face palettes look. I'm not even the biggest fan. I'm not even a huge Charlotte Tilbury fan, but these are beautiful, okay? I am highly considering getting the lighter palette of the face palettes, and a girl knows that she doesn't need any more face palettes, but something about that blush shade and something about just the way these look are very enticing, and maybe I'm just falling for the marketing here. In fact, that's probably what's going on, but these are just really saying, buy me, and I'm on the fence. I know these are going to be expensive. I'm going to go out on a limb here and guess that these might be anywhere from like $65 to $80. Now, if these are $60 or $65 or something like that, I think that is within the reasonable price range for a Charlotte Tilbury product. But if these are $80 like her last face palette was, the beautiful blush palette she came out with, if these are that expensive, then I just simply can't. I need to keep my liver and my kidney for my body to function, and I can't really bother to offer those up right now in return for these beautiful glowgasm palettes. So I guess we'll just have to see how much they are before I give you a conclusive answer on whether or not I purchase one of these. But as of right now, I just have a gut feeling that these are just going to be a pretty penny and that I'm gonna have to skip over them because I need to keep my organs. Alright, let's go ahead and give a round of applause to Colourpop here because we went one whole week without them actually releasing anything new, which is surprising. And it doesn't happen often, so yeah, I'm pretty proud of them for giving us a whole entire week to just let our bank accounts chill, but nonetheless, they're back at it again with yet again another release. And it is just in time for festival season. To be honest, I hate that term. And I get it. If you live in SoCal, you're probably gonna go to a festival around this time of year, but I live in Washington, so I can't relate to it. It's raining outside. We're not going to a festival. We're staying inside in our warm houses where we're not going to get drenched. But nonetheless, this is the festival collection. It is available now, and it consists of a whole bunch of different products. We are getting 8 new pressed glitters for $5 each, and this is a brand new product to Colourpop other than what was in the most recent spring palette. We had a few pressed glitters in there, and I own that palette, and let me tell you, they are phenomenal. But they are also releasing 4 pressed pigments. Some of them are repromoted, and these retail for $5.50 each. There are 4 new cream gel liners for $6 each, 3 new So Juicy glosses for $7, and 1 new mascara in the shade Little White Lies for $8, which of course is a pure white color. Who would have guessed it? So as I stated, I am thoroughly impressed with their pressed glitter formula from what I've tried from the Colourpop spring palette. Should come more prepared for these things. Hold that thought. The Sweet Talk palette. Of course, the Sweet Talk palette. I should know because I own it. But the glitters in that palette are beautiful. They are not overly chunky. They're definitely chunky. I mean, don't get me wrong. They're pressed glitters, but they're not anything that's too crazy. They're not super creamy or Vaseline-like a lot of cheaper glitters are. They're pretty dry to the touch, but they go on really effortlessly. I was pretty impressed with them, and the color selections that they came out with for that specific palette were so unique and so multi-dimensional. So when I saw that they were coming out with new pressed glitters, I was just like, sign me up please, because the formula is just beautiful on those. I personally really like the shade selection they came out with as far as these pressed glitters go, and just the pressed pigments in general. We have a bunch of different bright colors here, but they're all bright colors that are really unique and flattering for most people. I feel like if you're into color, you're probably going to be impressed with this color selection. I think that out of the whole collection, my favorite is probably the shade Hungry Ghost, which is like an opaly, golden, and blue mixture of colors all put into one. And to me, when I see a color like that, it reminds me of the shade Astral Lunar Gold from the Pat McGrath Bronze Ambition palette, and I have yet to find something that is exactly the same as that shade, so this looks very promising. I'm on the fence about getting it because I just got a bunch of new pressed glitters. I just got the Sincerely Katie Brown palette, and that has all pressed glitters. I think it has 18 different shades. So I'm like, I don't need to add any more pressed glitters to my collection. But I have been trying to find a dupe for Astral Lunar Gold for so long, and this looks pretty promising in my opinion. So that fella might make his way into my collection, let's be honest. I love the pressed pigments, they're beautiful. I have shades that are basically like all of them except for the shade Keep Scrolling, which is that gorgeous bright chartreuse green, but I'm never wearing chartreuse greens. Now, if you're gonna get one of them, my suggestion would be to get the shade Sandbar. It is the hot pink, and it is absolutely phenomenal. It is one of my top hot pinks that I have in my collection. It is amazing. So as far as the collection goes, I think it's spot on for festival season. I think it's really pretty. I think that the eyeshadows are definitely the standout shades that are in this collection. I think it's gorgeous. I just don't really know how much of it I need, but I definitely think that if I wanted to purchase a pressed glitter and I was looking around for one on the market, this would be my go-to place to find it. I would most definitely pick up Hungry Ghost if I didn't just pick up the Katie Brown palette. Because really, how many pressed glitters do we need? Okay, I just got 18 of them. I don't think I need to add another here. I am mentally preparing myself for this next release that we're going to talk about here. Alright, let's talk about the elephant in the room, because I'm sure many of you who are into the beauty community and who are into new makeup releases are probably anticipating this. Tarte. Let's talk about Tarte and their Icy Betch palette. This is available now and it retails for $24. Now, you may be thinking, why is this girl overreacting? Why is she being so dramatic about this palette? What's so special about it? If you weren't into makeup about a year ago. But last year on April 1st, aka April Fool's Day, Tarte released the Icy Betch promo photos, and everyone and their mama was swooning over this palette. I mean, this was a truly unique palette that we had never seen on the market before. And it was a joke, and a lot of people were really upset about it, myself included. Okay, we're makeup lovers, we get very emotional about these things, especially because this was a release from Tarte that we had never seen before on the market yet again with Tarte. Tarte has always been known to release neutral toned palettes, and not that that's a bad thing. I mean, they're the staple neutral palette for so many people, but for someone who loves color like me, and for this beauty community who seems to be getting more into color, this was a huge letdown to find out that this was just, you know, a joke. So fast forward to now, a year later, when Tarte releases the real Icy Betch palette. I only have to say one thing about this, and I don't think I can say it in my own words. So Alexa, play JoJo's Too Little Too Late. It's just a little too late, a little too long, and I can't wait. It's dumb, but I don't think I can explain it or describe my emotions towards this palette any better than that song. It has been a whole year. So many brands, especially indie brands, have come out with amazing dupes for the Icy Betch palette. The first two brands that came out with dupes for this palette right after the controversies and right after everyone was upset and had their feelings hurt by Tarte was Sydney Grace Cosmetics and devinah Cosmetics. And I have heard just phenomenal things about both of those bundles. They're exact duplicates of the Icy Betch palette, but the formulas on those, even though I haven't tried them, I have heard that they are amazing. And I've tried both brands and I love both of their formulas, so I don't doubt it. Since then, there has been so many indie brands that have replicated this palette. You know, Menagerie Cosmetics just came out with the Whale Song palette, which is very reminiscent, and they have an amazing formula. Emby Cosmetics just came out with a blue palette that looks absolutely stunning, that looks very reminiscent of this as well. And I'm sure that there are so many more brands that I just can't think of right now because my head's just filled with nonsense. And let's be honest here, Tarte is a huge corporation, like multi-million corporation. I don't know if they're multi-million. I would assume so. I don't know that off the top of my head, okay? I'm bad at numbers. I personally would choose to give my money to an indie brand any day over a big corporation. You know, you're supporting a small business. You're supporting an independent business that doesn't have a parent company. It's just much better in my personal opinion, and you are more than entitled to your opinion about that. That's just my own thoughts about this. So as far as them releasing this palette goes, I truly just feel like they waited way too long and they just offended too many people at the beginning of this entire mess. Plus there's a whole giant mess of nonsense when it comes to Tarte, and then possibly releasing this a day before Jeffree Star's blue palette launch. I don't want to get into that, but there's all sorts of controversies with that too, so this is just a launch that I'm going to stay very far away from because I don't want anything to do with it. And if I wanted something to do with it, I would just purchase from one of the indie brands. But speaking of indie brands, those are all of the releases that I have as far as the mainstream big brands go. So let's go ahead and transition right on over to the indie brand side of things for this week, my personal favorite. But the first collection that I want to talk about is one that's still being released. I did finally get a release date for it though, and that is the Clionadh Cosmetics Stained Glass collection. This will be available on April 30th. They are coming out with so many different shades of multichrome beautifulness. That ain't a word, but it is here in this context. And they announced that it is going to be permanent, which I am so happy about, because just in case I end up missing out on one shade, then I don't have to worry about it going away because it's limited edition. I appreciate that from them. But I have talked about this collection a few times here in Paris Stay Away. They've just shown us some sneak peeks, and right now they're showing us swatches of everything. And they recently started swatching the purples and the pinks, and I'm gonna go ahead and just pop it right up here, let you guys take a look at it and soak it all in. But these are so freaking beautiful. These are multichromes unlike any that I've ever seen. These are glitter multichromes, but they're not pressed glitters. These are just going to be super sparkly, super shiny multichrome eyeshadows, which I appreciate because I would much rather have a glittery and sparkly eyeshadow than a pressed glitter. I just think that they look more flattering on the eyes, and they have my heart with this collection. They showed off what the pans look like. They are domed in a sort of way that make them look like when they're all together, if you decide to get the whole collection or just a few of the collection, when you put them all together, they are going to look like stained glass, basically. They look beautiful. They look, I can't even describe how pretty they look. I'm so excited. And, you know, I plan on buying this entire collection. They have so many different kinds of formulas to choose from just out of this collection in general. They have the darker toned multichromes, they have the iridescent multichromes, and then they have the glittery multichromes. So I want to get my hands on everything in this collection because these are truly unique and gorgeous products that I have to have as a makeup lover and as a makeup collector. These have to make their way into my collection of things, or I'm gonna be extremely upset and probably throw a little bit of a fit, just being honest here. So it looks like we have two of my favorite indie brands to talk about today, because this next release is from Touch of Glam Beauty, who I freaking love and adore. Her products are absolutely phenomenal, but she is coming out with the new Spring Rain collection. These are new single shadows and they will be available on April 20th. They are gonna retail for around $5 each or so. I'm not 100% sure about that, but usually her products are about $5 per pan. And there are 16 new shades to choose from with all new formulas. A lot of these are dual chromes, so you already know these are right up my alley. There's one shade in particular called Seduce Me, which is like a bubblegum pink with a lime green shift. So I am absolutely going to be purchasing that shade, and there are also a few other ones that are kind of calling out to me that honestly I wouldn't mind getting too. There's a gorgeous rose gold with like a red and pink shift to it, and there's also a beautiful peach shade that has a golden shift. She hasn't even shown off the entire collection yet, and I already know that I'm probably going to be purchasing at least 3 of them out of the whole collection. I know she has some beautiful purples coming soon, and I already know I'm just going to be sucked into those because Lord knows I love a good purple eyeshadow. So as far as money goes, I'm basically screwed between Touch of Glam Beauty's new collection and Cleonadh's. Like, goodbye every cent I own, basically. Oh well, at least it's going to something that I know I'm going to love, and it's going towards some really beautiful products. I'm just going to be broke for like 6 months. It's fine. And the last release that we're going to be talking about for this week is from Glam Cosmetics, which I feel like doesn't release things that often, but the products that they do release have a huge cult following, so that's pretty cool, I suppose. I personally haven't tried anything from them, but they're releasing the Black Metal palette, and this will be coming soon. We don't have a price yet, we don't have a date yet, but I was tagged in this palette, and I know why. I think we all know why. Look at that beautiful giant pan of lavender highlighting goodness. Like, ugh, I just want to take a bath in that eyeshadow or highlighter or whatever it is. I want to take a bath in it, cover myself head to toe. It is absolutely gorgeous. We haven't seen swatches, but it just looks so beautiful in the pan. It is a gorgeous pinky lavendery type highlight that you can obviously use as an eyeshadow as well, and it's basically meant to be a topper for the other shades that are in this palette. And this is an all shimmer palette, and most of the eyeshadows that are in here are a little bit grungier. You know, we got some metallic navy blues, metallic rusty reds, metallic sage greens. So this isn't really my kind of tea. This ain't really my gig when it comes to eyeshadow, because I'm not really reaching for rustier, kind of grungier tones. I never reach for those. So it wouldn't make sense logically and financially to pick up this palette just to get that beautiful highlighter that's in there. But good lord, if they release that as a single, I wouldn't be able to resist it, that's all I must say. So I don't think I can purchase this because I know I'm not going to use like 80% of the palette, but you know, it's really got me considering just purchasing the palette for that lavender highlight, which is insane and I shouldn't do that. So hold me accountable to that, please, because Lord knows I'm going to be tempted. Alright guys, we made it to the end. It was a journey. If you have made it this far, then I love you with all my heart. You are a sweetheart. You are amazing for going through this makeup journey with me for this week. It was a lot. It was definitely a lot, but we got there. We're done now. But let me know down in the comments, what are you purchasing out of everything I talked about today, and what are you not going to be purchasing? And let me know if I missed out on anything that, you know, you want to pick up for this week that I just didn't talk about today. And let me know how you are feeling about the Tarte Icy Betch palette, you know, respectively, and don't get into fights with people. Let's all respect each other's opinions, but I'm just curious to know what other people are feeling about this. I feel like people are either like, I don't care, they came out with the palette and that's cool and I want to try it, or people are very angry and very, you know, over it, and I'm kind of on the side of the people who are very over it. You already know what I have to do here. I have to plug my YouTube channel, so if you are not already subscribed and you would like to be, then I would absolutely love it if you hit that subscribe button down below to stay in the loop with all the new makeup releases. And if you enjoyed the video and you found it helpful or entertaining, then I would absolutely love it if you gave me a big old thumbs up as well, because it helps the YouTube channel. We all know this here. But with that being said, I really hope that you enjoyed the video, and I hope that you were having an absolutely amazing and beautiful day wherever you are. And thank you so much for joining me today and spending your time here, taking the time out of your day to join me on the makeup journey. I hope to see you next time. Bye!